Hi guys, welcome to the May Stampin' Society tutorial, where this month we are featuring lots of brand new products from the brand new annual catalogue, which goes live this month. Yay! So I have decided to feature a product. I couldn't get my pre-order right on time, but I wanted to feature a product that is actually brand new to the annual catalogue, which is the Waves of Inspiration bundle. So this was featured in a special pre-order that went live, I think, last month, but it's actually a product from the new annual catalogue. It's a beautiful stamp set with coordinating dies, and I've seen loads of amazing things with it. It was released as part of a special promotion with some paper and bits and bobs, which I'll use a couple of them today, but they are while supplies last, so they won't be going into the new annual catalogue, but this one will. So I wanted to show you a card that I created using this bundle, and it's actually a fun one, and you can tell I've been stamping with blue ink. This is a fun one using some Gilded Leafing, which is a really fun product, and I'm really sorry you can see some sun. I'm filming this in the late afternoon, so I do apologize, but this one here is a really fun technique to do, and it uses this fun product which is carrying over, which is exciting. And look, you've got to be really careful how you use this because it does go everywhere. It doesn't come in a container like this, but it's easiest to pop it into a larger container. So that's this cool stuff here, and it adds such regal effects to the card. So I'm going to show you how to use that, and that is why I've gone ahead and done one of the steps ahead of time, because I needed my glue to dry. So I will just get into showing you how I created it. So this is the finished card, but I've gone ahead and pre-cut the supplies to make this card with you guys. So I have a basic white thick card base, and then I have cut for the inside a large layer of basic black and a smaller layer of basic white, which if you want any of the dimensions for these, you can do so by purchasing the tutorial, which will be linked below, and that will include all 6 projects from the designers with full video links and all the written instructions and measurements. So that's the easiest way to go about that. You can also earn it for free if you are here in Australia by shopping with me and spending $35 or more, which the link will be below. That's a little customer gift from me to you. Or if you're in another country, there's 6 designers, and we're in each of the markets with Stampin' Up, so you can shop with your respective demonstrator in that country and you will receive it for free. So that's those bits. And then I've also got a larger layer of basic black and a smaller layer of basic white for the front, which are slightly different measurements. And then I have some of this gorgeous blue foil. This is one of the limited products available in that promotion at the moment, and it has 3 different colors of foil, I think. There's a Night of Navy, a Coastal Cabana, and a silver. So I'm going to use those, and I've got one for the inside and one for the outside. So they're the bits and bobs that you'll need, as well as I'm going to bring in some of these beautiful rhinestone jewels that come. They're part of the limited edition release. So I'm going to take this smaller layer of basic white first off, and then I'm going to bring in my stamp apparatus, which I have popped the wave stamp on. So that's this big wave here, and I really hope that glare is not too annoying. I might actually just shut my blinds completely and work off artificial light. I think it's really annoying. Okay, so I'm going to pop in this little piece of basic white, and I've lined up my stamp already. So I know if I stick it at the first down one grid box on my grid paper in my stamp apparatus, that will be in the right spot. So I'm going to stamp up my wave in some specific points. So when I'm stamping with larger stamps, I find it a lot easier to use my stamp apparatus because 1, you'll need a really big block, but 2, if you don't get it inked quite correctly, you can always go back and re-ink and re-stamp in exactly the same spot. So that's pretty good, although there is a little bit more definition needed up the top of that wave. So I'll just re-ink that again and stamp that down. Okie dokie. So that gives you that really cool wave, and that's stamped in Pacific Point. So I'll move this to the side, and sorry, I just knocked the camera. Okay, so now once I've got that, I kind of want to add a bit of Wink Stella with a bit of glitter, but doing that with with some of the deeper, bolder inks, it actually drags the colour and can make it a bit of a fun watercolour effect. So I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and just add this over the top of my wave, which what that's going to do, if you do it sort of straight after stamping, is pull some of that ink that hasn't quite dried and make it bleed into the image. Now, I didn't want to go and add too much because I don't want to lose all the definition from my stamp. I just want to pull a bit of that colour so you get some of that blue into the wave. So if you can see that, it's just pulled a little bit of that blue and added some sparkle. Now the next step I'm going to do, I'm actually going to then go into one I've already done earlier, because I'm going to add the Gilded Leafing. And to do that, all I need to do is add some of my liquid glue where I want the Gilded Leafing. But it's a quick dry glue, but it probably would take longer to dry than I want to in this video. But I will show you how I did it. So I'm just going to go and apply little bits of glue where I think I might like them. And I'm not being too fussy. I'm just going around some of the lines that are already in the image and sort of making some up as well. I'm not being too precise. So I just want to go in. You can see the lines where you've added the glue. So if you think you want some more, and that's probably enough. I don't know if you'll be able to see where I've added that glue. Probably a little bit. So I'm going to pull in one that I have let dry completely. So these look wet, but they're actually just sticky. And that's what we want. So now I'm going to pull in the Gilded Leafing. And I have got my a quarter of a Stampin' Sponge in here, which is really handy because the Gilded Leafing will stick to that sponge. Now what you want to do is then literally just add it on top of the card and go in a bit of a circular motion. So you're adding it on, but also taking off the excess at the same time. So just going to add it in, apply it to my card. Once you think you've got all the spots done, just give it a bit of an extra rub to get off any of that extra. And there we have that beautiful gold leafing. It's so pretty. So that's as simple as it was for that card. Now I can go in and add some extra bits. So with this base, I'm actually going to pull in a Coastal Cabana Stampin' Wrap marker, and using the thick end and the cap, I'm just going to lightly spritz some Coastal Cabana ink just to the edge of my wave so it looks like a bit more sea spray. Then I'm going to take the image from the stamp set, which is just this tiny little bird up here, and I'm going to pull in some Stays On ink because I really like the deep black. And I think on my supplies list that I did for this card, I actually added Memento Black, which you could do, but I'm going to stamp in Stays On for this one and just stamp 3 little birds in the top right corner. Yeah, I just found that the Stays On ink is slightly a darker black than Memento, and I really wanted those to be quite dark. So the next step is to grab one of these small layers of the blue foil, and I made this a very smaller, like a very, not a wide strip, because I wanted to make sure that I could still see the wave, and it does cover up a lot of the bottom, but it's still very pretty. Now we've got that, I'm going to add this onto my layer of basic black, just to give that a nice match. I love Tombow glue because it gives you some wiggle room if you need to move that a little bit, which I did. And then I'm going to add this to my card base with some Stampin' Dimensionals, which I did stick here somewhere. It's funny, when I get ready for a video, I get very prepared and then I lose everything that I have prepared. So I'm just going to turn this over and add some Stampin' Dimensionals. Just add a few, probably go a bit overboard, but that's just me. Okay, so once I'm happy with that, I can stick that to my card base. And then I'm going to do one more thing for the outside, and that's to take a scrap of basic black, and I want to stamp my sentiment, which is our friendship is a thing of beauty, and I'm just going to stamp that onto a scrap piece of basic black. So I'm going to stamp that in some Versamark, because, and that is really crooked, but I think I'll fix it. And I'm just going to add some white embossing powder to that one. There we go. And then I can heat that up. Just wanted to make sure that heat gun was nice and hot. Okay, so then I'm just going to bring in my tiny little guillotine, which is like one of my favourite things ever. Because it's crooked, I'm actually going to not line it up with the top edge, but I'm going to line it up with my sentiment so that I can fix how crooked I stamped that. And there we go. And then I'm just going to trim the edges of that piece. And then I can add some liquid glue just to my sentiment, which I'm going to stick towards the left of the card, just there. I'll just take a second to adhere. Stick down. And then I'm going to grab some of these gems and just add a couple of these beautiful gems just over here towards the left of the card. So I'm going to add a little bit of a bigger one over here. No, that's the same colour. Maybe I'll go this one. Oh, maybe I'm blind. That is definitely not the same colour. Okay. So then there's 3 of those gorgeous little gems on that little corner there, which is really fun. Okay, so then the last bit I want to do is the inside of the card, and I am going to stamp the wave again. So I'm going to bring back in my Stamparatus. We'll just move those pieces there, and I think because this is a bigger piece, it's actually lined up slightly differently. I think if I stamp it to this edge, I might actually have to move so I want just a tiny bit of that edge showing, because that'll get covered up. So I'm going to stick that there and hope that that stays while I stick the lid down. As you can see, it's already got ink on it. And I'm just going to pull in the same colour, so the same Pacific point, and just stamp that down. And I always seem to miss the top of that wave, or the little bit that curls over. I'm sure that's probably got a surfing name. Right. So that's all stamped, and I'm just going to close up my ink pad because I can see myself putting an elbow or something in that. And then I'm just going to repeat what I did to the outside of the card and pull some of that ink to make it look a little bit watercoloured. Now I'm pretty sure this whole bottom piece here is going to get covered up, so that won't matter so much. It's just this top part. Oops. And then there's a little bit of foil to go along the bottom there. I'll stick just along the bottom. Oopsie. Like that. Now, I think on the original I didn't really do much else, but I think I'm going to add a little bit more spritzing using my marker. And then I'm going to stick that onto a layer of basic black. Like that. And then this can go onto the inside of the card. Like that. So that's a really fun inside for these fun Gilded Leafing Waves of Inspiration cards. So I hope you had fun checking out a different way of using the Gilded Leafing in this fun bundle today. And it's scary to say, but I'll see you guys back in June, which means it's mid-year, which is a bit scary. So I'll see you then, and be sure to check out all the other videos and blog posts for this month. Bye!